Hey guys, what's up? This is the watch list video for Friday, April 29th. Big bounce in the SPY today. I think the Dow was up over 600 points too. So the hard part for me is, again, like I said, we don't really have any bounce play setups because of these intermittent big green days. Did we just put in a short-term bottom? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe we did. It's worth noting that Apple reported after hours. My charts are acting up again. Imagine trading and waiting this long for your chart to come up. How sad is this? There it is. Isn't that nice? I only pay $200 something a month for them. So anyway, closed at 163.91, and right now it's trading at 160, right around 160 and 33 cents. So it is lower in after hours. I think it went up to 170 at one point. But trading a little bit lower, trading a few bucks lower. So that's one big name. And then Amazon, there's the daily, closed at 28.91. As I'm talking, it's trading at 2,630. So somewhere down right about here. So gapping down, obviously earnings miss. So there's a couple big names. Will probably affect the overall market tomorrow. Certainly the market's pretty choppy, right? Overall weak, but you get these big bounces. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Couple highlights from today. We had Netflix on Bounce Watch, and I want to give a hat tip to Jacob KL in chat. Somewhere along the line today, he posted that Netflix topped at he basically let me rephrase that. Let me start over. He gave the idea of Netflix back through 193. If you're in the chat room at all, you understand why. The early high was 193.19. It's already on Bounce Watch because we haven't had a break of its morning high in however many days since the big gap down, I think. So the actual bounce play trigger would be, high of day break, which is 193.20. Jacob KL put out the idea of through 193. So there it breaks, right there it breaks 193. And look what happens. So that was a really, really neat bounce play for anybody that took it. From 193, great idea, Jacob. Went to 201.48. Did it go higher than that here? Basically 201.50. So that's a big move, right? Really nice heads up by Jacob. And straight off the bounce play watch list video from last night. And then I gave an idea for Qualcomm, which was a gapper this morning, QCOM. Let's go to 5-minute candles. Also noted sometime midday that this topped out at exactly 147. We like whole number, half numbers, that sort of thing. The first time it broke 147 was right here, and it only went up 11 cents. It didn't come back down that much though, right? It just came back down to the buy zone we look for, and then really took off. But anyway, when it broke 147, time of day sucked. We're very open about that. So when it did that and came back down, I gave the idea second mouse back through 147, which occurred right here, and then you got the move, right? So it's a perfect example of a second mouse play, a time of day, taking time of day. All the things we teach kind of came into play on this one. And from the second mouse 147 break, went to 151.20. So there's a couple highlights from today. What are we watching for tomorrow? I'm not in love with this list. I'm not in love with the market, but SQZ, massive volume, strong move. We're going to see if it gives any kind of follow-through day setup. PayPal, by the way, huge miss for me on this one. This was, that's right. I put it on gap play because I saw it gapping in after hours yesterday, right? But look what it does. So it comes up, this is the opening candle right here, 87.35, puts in a little bit of a lower high at 87.15. So then when you break the range and get back up through the high of day, it was off to the races. Why I didn't see it? I remember now. Because, it was on a chart. It was pretty interesting if it broke the high of day. And then this isn't an errant tick. I'm pretty sure it actually did this. So when I'm watching it do this in real time, I'm basically thinking, okay, all the longs are kind of hosed. It's breaking to new lows. I literally replaced it with something else. I took it off the chart. The next thing I know, somebody said, wow, PayPal's ripping. So I completely missed that one. And I would have seen it, I think, if I'd have still had it on the chart. So there's probably a lesson there for all of us, right? Just because something hits new lows for the day, but you like it at a certain point, there's no reason to take it off a chart. And I certainly didn't need the chart space for something else because there wasn't a lot of stuff that I was in love with. But anyway, so PayPal with that big bounce today goes on watch. This PYPL goes on watch for tomorrow for a continuation of that bounce. ALLG, former high flyer, came all the way back down, kind of completely round tripped on the daily. But a pretty nice little pop today. and a fairly strong close. So I'm going to keep that one on watch for tomorrow. It was a big mover about a month ago. DWAC put in an inside day after yesterday's big pop. Today topped out at 49.60. So it's interesting if it breaks that tomorrow, but I noticed in after hours this thing went up over 60 bucks. And the best I could tell with doing like 2 minutes of research is that Trump tweeted his first tweet on Truth Social. Is a Trump tweet on Truth Social worth from 48 to 60? I don't know. Right now it's trading at 54 something. But anyway, it's showing some strength lately, so I am going to watch it. Whoops, I didn't type that right. Netflix and FLX. Just looking for a continuation of today's bounce. Really beaten up. And we did get finally got a green candle. So we're going to see if it continues tomorrow. Not in love with that one. VIVK had the big rip yesterday. Gap down today, but actually showed some strength. I'll show you 5-minute candles here. Near the end of the day, it showed some strength. So then I looked at the daily and thought, well, you know what? I'm going to put that on long watch. It's holding up okay. FRGE, this one's kind of obscure, but had a couple really nice pops here to 20 and then here through 20. Had a red day, and then today already putting in a green day, but a much more narrow range. I'm not in love with this, but it's made a couple huge moves in the past week or so. So I am going to put it on a chart. I'm going to put Boeing BA on a chart. It just goes on bounce watch. It was on bounce watch for today, but it gave no setup. So no trigger, no trade. It goes back on watch for tomorrow. SKYH, this is not a handsome daily chart. Just went crazy, round trip, little bounce, and it's already rolling back over. But you do notice on this bounce, which went basically from 565 in a few days, maybe 4 days, all the way to 1224. That's a huge move, right? Now you got a couple days lower on much lower volume. So I am going to put this on bounce watch for a potential turn back up tomorrow. Couple more. Disney, which this is kind of interesting. Disney got killed with Netflix, right? But if you zoom in, of course, Disney has its own headlines in the news. But I certainly think, and I'm not an investor, I'm a day trader, but I certainly think they're much more powerful and you know, balance sheet wise and just a bigger, way bigger media company, and that they probably shouldn't have got decimated. And even the whole news with the Florida governor, to me, none of that is worth what's happened to Disney. Again, it started getting killed with Netflix. So anyway, the interesting thing is back here, which was what, 7-8 days ago, I don't know, topped out at 133.19. The next day put in a lower high, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So it has not broken a previous day's high since this was over 133. Little bit of a bottoming tail like yesterday and today. So it was on bounce watch today. It was squinky. I watched this thing trade a lot. And the early high right at the whole number 116. I told everybody I really liked it over 116. And Netflix is strong. And, you know, Disney's a better company and blah, blah, blah. And if we get that late day, high of day break, it could rip. It literally went up and touched 116. Then at this point had a cup and handle. Never broke 116. Kind of sold off near the end of the day. I think it's still worth having on bounce watch. All right, we'll see if it gives a proper trigger. And then lastly, I'm a little embarrassed for having this on watch because it's such a bizarre chart. It's been trading for 2 days, and it went from 10 to 40, and then today ran to 47.79, and then whoosh, bottom fell out. It closed at 460. Does this deserve to be on watch? I don't. You know, it's made a crazy enough move that maybe it's overdone to the downside. By the way, look at 5-minute candles. All these gaps are halts. Imagine buying this, getting filled like up here on the halt up. Next thing you know, it's just decimated. Or maybe you're bidding on the way down, thinking you're getting a bargain. You know, things like this are just crazy. I did not trade this today, but just crazy, risky, dangerous. But at the end of the day, it finally went kind of sideways for quite a while. So maybe people will say, you know what, it's stupid action, but it's overdone to the downside. It doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart, and I won't do anything with it unless I get a proper setup. So I'm going to put it on a chart, but it is a bizarre stock. I'm just reading a headline. Apple shares dip after company warning of a possible $8 billion hit from supply chain constraints. And that could be completely indicative of what's coming to most companies and to all of us, right? So certainly, I've been talking about this. There's a lot of underlying weakness in the market, and it is not time to go on the long side big, but for day trades, if you get an A+ setup, and that's why I'm a day trader, so I don't have to worry about headlines like that. There should certainly be plenty to trade every day going forward, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm done babbling. See you guys in the chat room in the morning.